Jai Sriman Narayan.
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 I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to the Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to the 12 Alvars. I pay Mama. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome you physically to the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa, on this great day in our religious calendar of Maha Shivaratri, and I welcome Lord Shiva once again to the Sri Narayan Dham on this great day. My very first event when I started Satsang in 2013 October, 2014 February was my celebration of Maha Shivaratri. And I remember these white chair covers and my late friend Shanta, where we decorated a classroom and we made it 7-star. That was our very first Satsang. A celebratory Satsang. Then 2018 Maha Shivaratri, 13th of February, I feasted my eyes on this property. I feasted my eyes on this property. And today we are celebrating Maha Shivaratri in a fully fledged, fully inaugurated ashram on this property. So Maha Shivaratri, you want to put a light on? Am I looking like Vasan? Okay. So Maha Shivaratri has great significance here at the Sri Narayan Dham. And I also want to say personally, for myself, 24th February 2012. 24th February 2012. I was suffering from a lifelong addiction. I was smoking 100 cigarettes a day for over 25 years. So this was before I started Satsang. 24th February 2012, on Maha Shivaratri we had a prayer room. And this is where the potency in the water started. I took a glass of water, I left it with Lord Shiva, and I told him, on this night at 10 o'clock. I want to drink this water, and when I get up tomorrow morning, it must be as if I never smoked in my life. And when I got up on the morning, February 25th, one day before Mataji's birthday, it was as if I have never smoked in my life. So very, very significant, this Maha Shivaratri for myself in my personal capacity, and then for us as the Sri Narayan Dham collective. And then for the Sri Sampradaya and Sri Vaishnavism unity. So we continue with this disturbance that we have in with load shedding in South Africa at the moment. Currently we are on solar power. We have been since Satsang began. And when switching over takes place, then we might have this disturbance. And this day has many, many stories. There are basically 12 Shivaratris, one every month. But this Shivaratri is called Maha Shivaratri because once a year there is a surge of cosmic energy. And that is why on this day Satsang is held from 6 to 6, so that that cosmic energy which flows in the universe also flows through your system, and you get energized for a complete year until this energy is released again. And there are many stories that are told and many bhajans that are sung. And along the way, we have forgotten why we sit 12 hours for Maha Shivaratri. They broke it into 4 3-hour sessions. So in Sanatana Dharma, every ritual has a scientific meaning behind it. Every ritual has a scientific meaning behind it. And it is unfortunate that we are very lazy to research and find out why we do things as we do. We, as humans, when it comes to religion and spirituality, we have the sheep mentality. We have the sheep mentality, don't we? We just follow like sheep. So timelessly, gurus are born and become shepherds. They take a stick and they show you the way. They take the stick and show you the way. And we use great days like this Maha Shivaratri to give you great knowledge, to give you pure knowledge, and to set things in its proper perspective. We all know that there is a ongoing rivalry between Vaishnavites and Shaivites, isn't something we should discuss, especially on a great day like this. Sanatana Dharma is not a carpet. Sanatana Dharma is not a carpet where you hide the dust. Sanatana Dharma must be healthily debated. It is a system of continuous debate. It is a system of continuous debate. And through this vigorous debate, you cleanse your soul and come out of your ignorance. So we need to put things in its perspective. We need to understand the scriptures as they are. As they are. So Sanatana Dharma is not like a court. I don't think anyone works in courts here, but Sanatana Dharma is not like a court where you get a judge. If you take a similar case, or if you take one case to 10 different judges with the same evidence, you'll get 10 different variations of judgment. One case, same evidence, you pass it through 10 judges, you'll get 10 variation of judgments. Because it is up to the judge to perceive what evidence was presented to him. Unfortunately, Sanatana Dharma does not make anyone the judge. Sanatana Dharma does not give any living entity to make any judgment, because the knowledge of Sanatana Dharma is the essence of the Supreme Absolute Truth Himself. The knowledge of Sanatana Dharma is the essence of the Supreme Absolute Truth Himself. So in Sanatana Dharma, 10 people can't give you 10 views. There's only one view, and that is the Lord's view. That is the Lord's view. So we all seated here beside two individuals are all South Africans, aren't we? So your instructions as South Africans comes from a set of laws. And the fundamental law, if you have a South African ID, then your fundamental law is the Constitution of South Africa. Is the Constitution of South Africa, and then you have the criminal law and the statutory law, commercial law, labor law, all these other laws enshrined within the broader framework of the Constitution. Is it not? So whether you like it or you don't, you have to act as South Africans within the Constitution of South Africa. And similarly, I am discoursing today from the constitution of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma only has one constitution. Sanatan Dharma only has one constitution, and I am discoursing from the constitution of Sanatan Dharma. All of you understand? The authorized scriptures of Sanatan Dharma is the complete set of Vedas, which include the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras, and the Bhagavad Gita. And the Bhagavad Gita. So, as a Sanatan Dharmi and as a Guru from the Sri Sampradaya, there is no difference between Sanatan Dharma and the Sri Sampradaya. Whatever is within the constitution of Sanatan Dharma is the absolute teachings of the Sri Sampradaya. And I am discoursing from this background. In this background, Lord Shiva makes his appearance in the Vedas at the very inception of creation. Lord Shiva makes his appearance in the Vedas at the very inception of creation. Creation, Lord Vishnu sleeps in the causal ocean. From his navel sprouts a lotus flower. Lord Brahma takes his birth on this lotus flower. The stalk of the lotus flower is the sum total of all living entities that exist in this material universe. The stalk of the lotus flower is the sum total of all living entities that abide in this material universe. Through Lord Brahma, all other living entities are born. So Lord Brahma, first Lord Vishnu lies in the causal ocean. A lotus, which is the sum total of all living entities, sprouts up. From that lotus, the first living entity is Lord Brahma. And after Lord Brahma has completed his penances, the first mind-born sons of Lord Brahma are the Kumaras, Sanat Kumaras, the four Kumaras. When Lord Brahma instructed them to marry, because this universe needed to be filled with living entities, and those living entities that is within the stalk of the lotus needed to come through other living entities and take their birth. Like how you, Tivashni, took your birth through mom and dad. You just didn't land. Alright? That is the process. That is the process. And the four Kumaras refused because they wanted to be Brahma Charis. Vasan, for how many years have I asked you whether you want to be a Brahma Chari or a Brahma Chali? And every time I asked him, he chose to be a Brahma Chali, but he ended up again a Brahma Chari. Because he is Vasudeva. He is Vasudeva Ramanuj Das. And when
Kumaras gave birth to the Guru principle. These 4 Kumaras gave birth to the Guru principle. Lord Brahma got angry. Lord Brahma got angry. And in his anger, who got anger problems in my ashram? Anyone with anger problems? I can see through people. I have an anger meter. I have a anger meter. Okay? When you get angry, Nirali, what happens to your eyebrows? Even if you designed it. Nirali, what happens to the eyebrows? They get closer. But anyway, I haven't seen Nirali angry. Mom and Dad can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Alright? I think they lost count. Naveen is shivering already. Don't worry, Naveen. This is a joke in a satsang. She won't get angry on the way home. So through the eyebrows of Lord Brahma, the Rudra principle was born. The Rudra principle was born. Who is personified as Lord Shiva. In the anger of Lord Brahma, from his eyebrows, his mind-born son was born, who is Lord Shiva. So let's put all this in its perspective. Lord Brahma was born from Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva was born from Lord. So Lord Vishnu is the grandfather, if you want to look at it in that dimension. Lord Brahma is the father, and Lord Shiva is the grandson of not Vishnu, if you want to look at it in that perspective. Okay? So I'm giving you this knowledge from the Vedas itself. This knowledge is within the Vedas. And I've stated every now and again we have to qualify what we state. So I'm just going to read quickly 2 verses from the Bhagavad Gita, because I've stated earlier on, the Bhagavad Gita is one of the authorized scriptures of Sanatana Dharma. Okay, so chapter 11, verse 6, and it is Lord Shri Krishna speaking. And just to give a background to those who do not understand, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, and before that it was spoken 120 million years ago. So the Bhagavad Gita is not new. It's not a scripture of 5,000 years. It was only reduced to writing 5,000 years ago, and it was spoken by Lord Shri Krishna again 5,000 years ago. So the entire Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses, was spoken 120 million years ago until it got lost. When we say it got lost, it does not mean that the book got lost. The knowledge got lost from the minds of humanity. And it was necessary to speak the Bhagavad Gita again. And the Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the main to re-establish that Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Reason number 1. And within reason number 1, I'm giving you chapter 11, verse 6. Behold the Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the 2 Aswins, and the Maruts. Behold them, O Arjuna, many marvels never seen before. So when Lord Sri Krishna showed Arjuna his universal form, he showed them the existence of Rudra within him in his universal form. And then verse 15, chapter 11, Arjuna said, I behold, O Lord, in your body all the gods and all the diverse hosts of beings, Brahma, Shiva, who is in Brahma, the seers and the lustrous snakes. So I'm giving you verdict injunctions here that Lord Brahma, the first living entity, when Lord Sri Krishna, who is an incarnation of Lord Sriman Narayan, showed him his universal form, he saw Lord Shiva within that universal form. Okay? Then it is stated that Lord Shiva is the foremost Vaishnavite. There is, who is a Vaishnavite? Who is a Vaishnavite? Those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu. And the foremost devotee of Lord Sriman Narayan is Lord Shiva. This is a verdict, injunction. All of you understand? So this knowledge is from the Vedas itself. It's not an emotion from the Guru or the Sri Sampradaya. Then we need to understand the rift between Vaishnavism and Shaivism. We need to understand this rift. So Lord Brahma had a son called Daksha. And from Daksha all the Suras and Asuras were born. All the Suras and Asuras were born. Those that follow righteousness are called Suras, and those that are not righteous are Asuras. And from Daksha both Suras and Asuras were born. And he had a daughter. What was his daughter's name, Vanita? Okay. And Lord Shiva married his daughter. Daughter's name was? I'll leave it to you. You all got the internet. He had a daughter, and Lord Shiva married this daughter. So there was a meeting for a huge yajna by the cosmic administrators. And the president of the cosmic administrators is Lord Brahma, by virtue of him being the first living entity to take his birth. And here all the saints and sages were present at this yajna together with Lord Shiva. So Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, all the Devis and Devatas, all the saints and sages of that time were present at this yajna. And Daksha, who is the leader of the Prajapatis, he attended this yajna, and by virtue of his position as a leader of Prajapati, everybody stood up and welcomed him, and Lord Brahma remained seated because he is the president and also the father, and he asked him to take his seat. Asked him to take his seat, and when Daksha saw Lord Shiva did not get up, he got very upset. When Daksha saw that Lord Shiva did not get up, he got very angry. So we know, I think those of you that have been following me for a while now, I've stated on numerous occasions that the impetus for this material universes and creation is karma. Is person karma. Alright? In this Vedic times, same karma were called curses and blessings, and curses had power by the Devis and Devtas, they still do, okay? So Daksha was very upset, and he began cursing Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva was also there with his followers. Lord Shiva was also at this great sacrifice with his followers. And Daksha was heading the Brahmin community. And when he cursed Lord Shiva, then one of Lord Shiva's devotees cursed Daksha and the Brahmins. Right? So I'm going to read one curse each. There are many curses here. Maybe when I go 12 hours, then I can read these curses properly, because Sita is already wondering that while she was not able to assist in cooking, she knew there was 4 people that came to cook. So she's wondering what 4 curries are there in the menu. Who's worried about Daksha and Lord Shiva's curse? How it helps her hungry tummy. Okay? So heading there, I'm just going to read, because I want to bring clarity, and I want a crystal clear rational understanding in the minds of you that are present here today listening to the discourse, and those that's going to be listening or reading this discourse subsequently when it is posted around the world.
Sorry.
You're killing the Guru, I mean.
Clip came off.
It's like we need to get a new stand.
That's right.
The one with the white light around it. Have you seen that one? Okay. Guru is demanding. Guru is demanding. Explanations given by gurus must be rational. It must make sense to you. The penny must drop. You must say, oh. What you must say? Ancharya? Oh, I'm sorry, Ancharya. In ashrams, everyone works, even queens. Even queens have to come and work in ashrams. First day in her life, she broke her sweat at ashram today. She's very tired and sleepy. The penny must drop, Ancharya. When you go home, everything must be as clear as day. When you listen to a guru, everything must be as clear as day. So I've chosen two verses. And this verse is, let me just find it properly. Canto 4, Chapter 2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. May those who are envious of Lord Shiva, being attracted by the flowery language of the enchanting Vedic promises, and who have thus become dull, always remain attached to fruitive activities. Let's see if this is happening. Let's see if this is happening. Are there people that's describing the Vedas in rituals, in flowery languages, and making you get involved in activities which will bear fruit for you? Is it happening? Temples?
Yes.
Pandits? They reading some nice verses for you in some nice languages, and they attaching you for materialistic gains. Is it happening or not? Yes. It's happening. See, when this curse was given, remember the Puranas are legends. Legends are very, very old. We cannot calculate the exact time when this was spoken, when this curse was, but look at how it is playing out in Kali Yuga at the moment. Look at how it is playing out in Kali Yuga at this present moment. Is this curse working now or not? It's working. Then, after this curse was made by Nandisvara, who is a follower of Lord Shiva, the sage Bhrigu, he also cursed the followers of Lord Shiva. One who takes a vow to satisfy Lord Shiva or who follows such principles will certainly become an atheist and be diverted from transcendental scriptural injunctions. Have we seen this in this Kali Yuga? Have we seen this curse in this Kali Yuga? Yes. Yes, then I'll qualify. There was a period in the beginning of this first 5,000 years of this Kali Yuga where all scriptural injunctions were forgotten and people were killing and sacrificing willy-nilly for anything and everything. And Lord Sriman Narayan, as Lord Buddha, took his birth and decried the Vedas. You all remember in my discourses? And then Lord Shiva incarnated. Lord Shiva incarnated, and he spread a trans-theistic philosophy as Lord Shankar Acharya, where he expounded the Maya-Vadi principle, which is atheistic in nature. So can you see the curses working in this Kali Yuga itself? You saw the first curse, that the Brahmins go from door to door knocking for food, then they charge you money, which they were not supposed to do, and they do huge rituals, and they speak in flowery languages. When describing the Vedas, that curse worked, and this other curse also worked. So the Vedas is practically your GPS in life. But it was necessary for me, Jai Bhai, instead of just singing the praises of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva cannot be understood, I'm going to explain just now. But we need to categorize the gods and goddesses so we can understand them. So we can understand their position, not as cosmic administrators, but their position in our life. You can't ask a baker to give you money. If you need money, you need to go to a banker. And when you go to a banker, you can't ask him for 2 loaves of bread. You have to go to a baker. So you need to know your cosmic administrators and what they can give you to make your life blissful and peaceful. Are there any questions up until this point? Satish Bhai? No questions? No receivers of revenue? Are you understanding who Lord Shiva is? So Lord Shiva is pleased the fastest. He is pleased the fastest. If you want to please Lord Shiva, you do some austerities and penances, he will reward you accordingly. Look at Ravana, he did his austerities and penances. Look what a great reward Lord Shiva, look what a great boon Lord Shiva gave. But Lord Shiva also can get angry very, very quickly as well. So he can please you very fast, and he can get angry and upset very, very fast. And he has taken on the hardest role as a principal devta. Remember, Lord Shiva is also called Maha Dev. Maha Dev. What Maha means? The greatest Dev from the Devtas. Maha Dev. So he is the principal Devta. With Lord Brahma, he is the principal devta. And this is why he did not get up. This is why he did not get up when Daksha came into the arena. Because Daksha was born long after him. The Kumaras were born, and then Lord Shiva was born. And long after that, Daksha was born. You understand? So he did not sit in ignorance, he sat in principle. He sat in principle. In principle, because he is Maha Dev. Okay? So all those that are involved in activities and passion, they have passion for things, they belong in Lord Brahma's domain. All those that are spiritual, they belong in Lord Vishnu's domain. And all those that don't care, that are ignorant, they belong in Lord Shiva's domain. But that does not mean that Lord Shiva is in Tamogun. That does not mean that Lord Shiva is in Tamogun, because the head of a prison, correctional services in South Africa, is the head, a prisoner, is a member of a pure and a bona fide elected government overseeing a prison department. Similarly, Lord Shiva is the foremost devotee of Lord Sriman Narayan, but he is the head of Tamogun. Why? Because he can be easily pleased. And he carries all those that cannot be fit in Rajogun or Satagun. Had it not been for him, I would not have been sitting here, let alone you. You understand? Because he removed me from Tamogun. Didn't he take away my 100 cigarettes a day? Okay? If I was still smoking 100 cigarettes a day, could I have been seated here? You understand? So he took out a worthless person like me from Tamogun and he inserted me in Satagun. Look at how great Lord Shiva is. Look at how great Lord Shiva is. He cares for the downtrodden, for the bhoot, for the pisach, where there is no law, the asuras. He cares for them with a passion. This again has been misinterpreted, has it not? Today, all those that want to smoke weed and bhang, they'll say it's Maha Shivaratri because Lord Shiva smokes weed and take bhang. They are taking just an excuse. Just an excuse. Lord Shiva is the purest Vaishnavite. You think he'll take bhang? You think he'll take alcohol? You think he'll hit a zolscape here and there? A puff here and there? You understand? Again, people has misinterpreted. And we want through this discourse on this great day to show how great Lord Shiva is. Shiva means all auspicious, and only an all auspicious personality can cater for everyone, can cater for the most downtrodden personality. And this is Lord Shiva. It doesn't mean that Lord Shiva belongs in that dimension. He only caters for people in that dimension. Are there any questions?
Gurudev, she was married to Parvati.
Okay. Parvati.
He asked me who his wife was.
Okay. Then I want to ask you, who's Sati?
I think that was Daksha's daughter.
Yes, and I'm talking about Sati.
Okay.
Before she incarnated into
Parvati.
Parvati. I don't want to give out too much of information, because Satish Bhaide, he might have some ideas. He might think, if we want to renew Jessica, the same Jessica can be renewed. That's only with the Devis and Devtas, Satish Bhai. That's why I don't want to give out too much information. Alright? Are you understanding? Are you understanding? Now, we say Lord Sriman Narayan is infinite. You can only have one personality that is infinite. If you have two personalities that are infinite, then they both become finite. All of you understand? So, Lord Sriman Narayan takes 4 forms. What are the 4 forms? Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Aniruddha and Pradyumna. These are 4 forms that Lord Sriman Narayan takes himself. And he enters every living entity's soul as Vasudeva, Paramatma. But the living entity that is Lord Shiva, Lord Sriman Narayan enters the soul of that living entity as Sankarsana. As? All of you understand? So in our Sri Sampradaya itself 1,000 years ago, we experienced this rivalry and hostility of Vaishnavism and Shaivism. So there was a king of the Chola dynasty who wanted Lord Ramanuj to be killed, because Lord Ramanuj was spreading Vaishnavism and he was a devout Lord Shiva devotee, and generally up until this moment in time, kings in India let the populace worship whichever deity you wanted. But up until this time, that Chola king, he wanted all the populace to worship only Lord Shiva. And Lord Sri Ramanuj's foremost disciples, they chose to impersonate Lord Sri Ramanuj, and they went to the king. And that disciple had to pull out his eyes. Okay? This is how bad it was. Now, this is not in the 5,000 years. This is not in the Daksha assembly in the legends. It is 1,000 years ago and directly experienced by the Adi Guru of the Sri Sampradaya. So he had to escape with his life and go and live in another kingdom for many years of his life. But this again was a blessing in disguise. So this allowed him to leave his current abode, and he went wandering around India and he spread Vaishnavism to the length and breadth of India. All of you understand? So as recent as 1000 years ago, our own Adi Guru himself was embroiled in this decision. And then there are talks of Hindu scholars. You know, in Sanatana Dharma, somehow we get Hindu scholars. I don't know where they pop up from, with what qualification, but they wanted to know that if Lord Sri Ramanuj was so compassionate, why didn't he accept Lord Shiva? So this king, he wanted Lord Sri Ramanuj to announce to his flock that no one was higher than Lord Shiva. And you think, those of you that know Lord Sri Ramanuj, you think it would have been possible for him to take that pledge. And this is the reason why he left and why he escaped from that king. So this is how dangerous misunderstanding the scriptures can become. This is how dangerous not researching the scriptures can become. So you are not fools because you don't buy anything off the cuff. Janika, how many tomatoes went through your hands in your lifetime? Leave everything else. Tomatoes. How many went through your life?
Millions.
Millions. After looking at 15 tomatoes, she'll take one. Paddy Bhai? Don't worry, Paddy Bhai, you'll be safe. Alright? So similarly, like the tomatoes, when you are accepting a guru, look nicely. And when you are accepting the knowledge from him, look nicely as well. Because if you take the wrong knowledge, you're going to cause mayhem in Sanatana Dharma. So I'm sure Lord Shiva would want to clarify his role in the life of all humans. And Lord Shiva does not judge. Lord Shiva does not judge. And he is also the head of the Guru principle. It is Lord Shiva, Mama, that leads you to your Guru. It is Lord Shiva that leads you to your Guru. Can you count the greatness of Lord Shiva? Is it finite or infinite? It's infinite. He is the most compassionate of devtas. He takes you and he places you in the lap of a Guru. Are there any questions? Any questions? The lights come on? Okay. We're going to end this discourse here. We're going to sing the Shiva Arti. Amita?